I wanted to make a tier list video because apparently a lot of people enjoy my opinions and they like the way that I guess articulate thoughts, and I don't make enough tier list videos, at least according to people on my main channel. So I'm gonna make a tier list video and post it on this channel, the Kenja D2R Extra channel, and this is what we are going to dive into: the characters for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra Season 2. Since we have all of the characters released now, we should have a pretty easy time going through all of the characters in this. At least in my opinion, it's not that debatable. I think one of my biggest things with the game is that this is a lot of people's first time playing a MOBA, even if they've experienced watching them, such as League of Legends or anything else. Like, I've watched them, including myself, and we've never like fully dived in. We might have tried other MOBAs, but this is kind of like a lot of people's first time playing MOBAs. And the reason I bring that up is it feels like a lot of people just aren't good at the game or good at understanding what their characters are supposed to be good at. You see people that normally play DPS and they just bring that mindset to every character, and it doesn't always translate the best. Like, DPSs have a passive damage boost over all of the other characters just inherently. And then tanks in the game, you know, they inherently have a higher percentage of health, and they have a passive health boost given that you're out of danger and out of damage for a certain amount of time, up to a certain percentage of health. And then you have your technical, which is kind of like a support slash really almost an all-arounder type of character that has a massive speed boost compared to everybody else in the game, and they are able to buff and debuff everybody else in the game. And you know how you mix and match your collectible cards and stuff like that makes a huge difference on how you play. But I do feel like, fundamentally speaking, a lot of people aren't good at Gekishin Squadra, even at the higher ranks. And I don't think that I'm really that good. I just feel like I got a really good understanding of the game pretty early on, especially since I stream and then people were kind of like helping me out in chat. That helps a whole bunch. So with that being said, let's jump right up into this. I think, first off, Daima Goku, I think he's B tier. He's not that bad. Honestly, Daima Goku is pretty good if you know how to use him, and that's kind of going to be like something that I say a lot, is like he's pretty good if you know how to use him. But comparatively to how easy, I'm going to just do all DPSs first. It looks like they have them all in a row. But compared to all the other DPSs, there's just people here that do massively more and quicker. Like, all of the DPSs are able to output an insane amount of damage if you know what you're doing. But that's the thing, you have to know what you're doing. Super Saiyan Goku, I think Super Saiyan Goku is A tier. I've been learning how to play with him a lot more. He's arguably Z tier, but I think because of his nerfs that we've gotten throughout the season, he has fallen down to A tier. He used to just be outputting the most damage in the game, but I think just overall being A tier is not bad. You know, it's still really good. And also, he has like one of the best outfits in the game, being the Yardrat suit. So I'm a little bit biased just off of his style and how he plays. I wasn't initially roped into how he played. He was probably one of the least played characters for me throughout Season 0 through Season 2. And I'm the type of person that if I spend money on something, I really want to try to make sure that I feel like I got my time's worth in it. So I ended up buying the Yardrat outfit when I got some Christmas money coming in. You know, I bought that pack for like $45, gives you a whole bunch of gems, and I just got a whole bunch of outfits for characters that I really like playing as in the game, and just some characters I really enjoy in the show in general. One of those was Super Saiyan Goku, and I really got to learn his playstyle, and I think that he does a really good amount of damage, especially when you learn how to pair it really well with his Kaioken. The only reason I don't put him in Z tier is that the characters that I do put in Z tier kind of easily steamroll with like no problem at all. He is definitely really good for taking out bosses and just sneaking his way in there, which kind of leads me into Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Super Saiyan 3 Goku I also consider A tier. This is in no order. A tier is A tier. It is what it is. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is A tier because he does an insane amount of damage really quickly early on. And then when you get to late game, it's kind of hard to handle Super Saiyan 3 Goku without like being really good at the game. Like you have to have a massive amount of just like force being tailor-made towards Super Saiyan 3 Goku usually, because if you get into a one-on-one with him and he has the right cards, he's just gonna out damage you very quickly, and his ult is like as good as the super spirit bomb. Just, I would say, you know, it's just more linear. I don't know, you guys could disagree with what I'm saying all you want. I know people kind of just feel like Super Saiyan 3 Goku is like, oh, pay to win, pay to win. I hard disagree with that. I don't think any character in this game is pay to win. In fact, I think the best character in the game, which I'll go to right now, damage-wise, is Kale and Android 18. Android 18 and Kale, literally, they're Z tier. Like, it doesn't even matter what you're doing in the game. If you run into a Kale or an Android 18 or both of them together, you're dead. You're just dead. These, I mean, like, yes, Goku has the ability to push people back and kind of, quote-unquote, one-shot people in a sense, but not really. Like, 18 is so fast and hits you in such succession, you're unable to, like, truly react in an effective way. So, in a sense, like, her doing one move pretty much one-taps you. And Kale is another character that can just straight-up one-tap you. And the other person I put in Z tier is Broly. And I would put Bojack in Z tier now. Because now, Bojack has gotten such buffs that it's really hard to handle him. I know that's probably something I'm just going to keep on saying throughout this video. Like, the Z tier, what's the differentiator from Z to A? I think it's the ability to just completely one-shot, completely steamroll, and it's just really hard to push back. I mean, there's not that big of a difference between A and Z. That's why it's like it can be interchangeable, I guess. But Broly hasn't been tampered with, so out the gate, he's really strong. You just have to, again, know what you're doing to know how to play as him. Bojack was previously B tier, and now he's just a DPS version of Frieza, basically. Like, he just does so much with all of his goons around him. Kale has just been Z tier since the game came out. Like, she literally just pairing shit together. She's easily just top tier. Going into this, I consider Piccolo to be B tier. Now, hear me out. I know that he outputs an insane amount of damage at that range, and he's like the only true zoner in the game. However, because he's a zoner in the game, it's usually really hard for Piccolo to handle anybody that gets up close and personal to him, unlike all the other characters. Well, he's still really good, and he has a lot of utility, which is why I keep him at B tier, but he's kind of just like, he's mid, you know? Like, he's not, well, I guess C would be mid, but out of all of the DPSs, I feel like Piccolo is like the worst one. I think that's fair to say. I think like Piccolo is the worst DPS in the game. I don't know if you feel differently. To me, he's the worst DPS in the game. Matter of fact, arguably C tier. Yeah, I would say arguably C tier. Like, he's just, I just don't see really great Piccolos anymore. Oob, I would consider B tier. Does an insane amount of damage. He's literally a machine gun. I'm kind of just going to speed fire, run through this, because I don't want the video to be too long. I was just kind of, I really wanted to explain the A and Z. We're going to get to Trunks. I think Trunks is A tier. Hear me out. Hear me out. Trunks is one of those characters that is, it's like you're playing him in disguise, because if you don't really know how to utilize his abilities like I didn't know how to utilize his stuff when I first played as him, and I dead ass when I first played the game, I was like, oh wow, he's the worst, absolutely the worst. But yeah, I slowly bumped him up to A. Excuse me. As I learned to play with him more, arguably he might be B. The only reason I say that is because he just requires a lot of I don't know, because I could say he requires a lot of skill to know how to use, but so does Piccolo. No, I'll keep him in A because just his utility, everything that he has to offer is just insanely good. His slash down is really good, his burning attack is really good, the smoke grenade shit, like everything that he offers is just insanely good, especially early game. I feel like the difference between how Trunks is hard to play is he's like extremely close range melee focus, while Piccolo is extremely far ranged focused, and the difference between those two is like massive. If I was to pin up a Trunks against a Piccolo, I think the Trunks is winning majority of the time unless the Piccolo is already zoned out. Also, Piccolo is one of the characters that he's like one of the very few characters in this game that's really hard to play if you're playing on controller. That's another thing you have to kind of take into account. This game is being played on all platforms, and I think mobile and PC is definitely the ideal way to play the game, just because of the ease of map control and just environmental control. You're able to see everything easier and clearer with the camera, whereas it's much more of a sluggish movement to control all of that with like an analog stick on a controller. I've tried playing controller and I didn't really enjoy that experience. Mind you, I'm coming from being massive console player first and then PC player second, and I'm slowly transitioning a lot of my gaming to PC, and I just found that it was so much easier to try playing this game on mobile and PC versus playing it with a controller. And for that reason is another reason why I consider Piccolo C tier, is because I'm taking into account everything. Matter of fact, because of that, I dare bump down Kale, because Kale is also kind of hard to use on controller. And I'm just putting that in perspective. Like if we're just doing straight PC player, right? If we're just doing straight PC builds, this is what I would consider it. But if we're considering everything, which that's what I'm doing, matter of fact, Kale is a little bit lower, because Kale is harder to use on console. Because of, to use her efficiently, where you're using, you know, her skill 3, and then you're using a skill 2 or skill 1, you know, most popularly using skill 1, it's just harder to aim. And that's really the biggest problem. Is she's supposed to be kind of a zoner similar to Piccolo, but not as extensive. Like she's like mid-range to far range as a zoner, whereas Piccolo is entirely far range, can do a lot of util mid-range as well, but he is meant to do everything far range. Kale, on the other end, is like, hey, I can get up close and personal with you. In fact, even her ultimate is like, I'm going to encourage you, make sure you're mid-range to your opponents, but you're not too far away where it's hard for you to catch them with your ult. You know, just opening up her ult does damage, and then you have the constant spamming on it as long as you have your settings correct, and you can kind of like auto attack and shit like that. So yeah, I'll bump Kale down just because of that, and I still keep 18 in Z tier just because the damage output, like she's just insane. You can be a bad player, I've never met a bad 18. Just simply as that. Like there are people that do arguable things playing as her, but it's like you don't even have to try to do damage with 18. She just does that much fucking damage. Going up in here, I would consider that Deborah has worked his way into A tier now because of his patch and his updates, and I think that's fantastic. He definitely needed more support. I'm glad to see that he's getting more support. I'm just glad to see that the developers behind Gekishin Squadra is actually listening to what the community has been saying, and they're paying attention to not only tournaments, but they're paying attention to the casual crowd, and they hear their audience. And I would consider Topo to also be A tier. The reason I consider Topo to be A tier is his skill 3. I mean, I know that on Twitter and a lot of places people are complaining about like, well, Topo is really not that great without his skill 3. Neither is Kale. neither is Goku, right? Like neither, like you could say, oh, Goku's not that good without his skill 1. That's what makes these characters dumb, okay? They're good because they have their stuff. They're good because of the utility that they bring to the game, and they're easily meshable with like any other character, right? That is why you consider Toppo a high tier character, because he does have his skill 3, okay? Because he has his skill 2 spinning around, because his ultimate does an insane amount of damage. Yeah, Toppo would be Z rank. I don't know. It's weird. Toppo is just, Toppo is arguably Z rank because he fits into every team build. He fits into every team mashup very easily, and he's similar to 18 to me, where he just does an insane amount of fucking damage, bro. And it's like literally, and it's like, it's unfathomable how much damage he does. Like, it's just crazy. He literally it's just hard to deal with him, whether it's early or late game. And he has a way to like boost his health back up. I think just everything that he has a part of his kit is what makes him Z rank. And again, I know a lot of people are probably going to complain that I have Broly in Z rank. I don't care, bro. Broly can just do so much if you know what you're doing with him. I'll arguably change this throughout the tier list and maybe put him in A rank. I think Broly is just too good of a character to just discount to A rank right off the beat. And then Gammas, I think Gammas is also C tier. They're hard to use with controller, and I think Gamma in general, just like their concept is an interesting one, sharing life bars, and they have good stuns and shit like that. But I don't know. I don't feel like they do enough damage until late game. Like if I come across a Gamma early game, I'm almost always just curb stomping them. The only thing that usually saves them is that there's 2 life bars. I'll always get 1 life bar out, and then they have like a small cooldown with a shield around them as the animation for them on their screen is showing the next Gamma come into the game. That's usually the only thing that gets them away. So just out of all the DPSs, I think this is a really good list of DPSs. Most of the DPSs are really good. And again, you have your outliers out there that are just really good as Piccolo and really good as Gamma. But if you look at the average player base, most people aren't performing very well as Gamma comparatively to the people that are playing as the other characters. And they're just, I guess, easier to use. And yeah, easier to use characters will be higher just because it's more inviting and people are able to just on average play and perform better. It's an easier concept to grasp. Super Saiyan Vegeta, I think he's still one of the best characters in the game right now. I'll consider him B tier. And well, I don't know, he holds his own pretty regularly, but they did nerf him at some point, and they made his Big Bang attack do like far less damage than it used to do. I still think that the fact that it sucks people in is just crazy, but the reason I put him in B tier is literally because Caulifla and Cooler are both A tier characters, and I can't put Super Saiyan Vegeta on the same scale as both of those tanks. Like, I'm putting it in perspective. Do I think the other characters here are around the same level? Like, I'm putting them like within their own classes, right? Between the tanks, is Super Saiyan Vegeta on the same scale as these two? Absolutely not. He has to be a tier below. He just has to be. And the same thing, vice versa. I just think these characters are just a league above. I don't know, because even that is like, again, I only put Kale lower in A rank because I think she deserves to be Z rank, but I also know that it's a little bit harder to play her on controller than it is to play with everybody else in this game. Same thing for these characters down here, and similarly for Goku. I just think this game is not very well optimized to play on controller in general. But again, if we're just doing straight PC, Kale is Z rank, and I would bump up Piccolo and the Gammas to B rank. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I think Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is on the same scale kind of his counterpart. They just have different play styles. That's it. Different play styles, but they're still kind of around the same area, whether it's strength wise and their utility and what they bring to the table for the entire team. Cell, I would consider Cell to be a step above because he's just really good at maintaining an area. If you want to maintain an area and secure a lane bottom on like the bottom lane, and you want to secure that whole area, Cell is the way to go. I mean, early game, Cell is kind of dookie juice, but Cell he's so good mid to late game that he just makes up for his output early game. The way, like, completely makes up for his output early game. If we're going for characters that are just like really good on the defense side, I have to put Zamasu up there. Zamasu is still really hard to handle. He's still really hard to take down, whether you have 2 or 3 people on him. He's just really good at handling situations. Arguably, Cooler might be the best tank, but Zamasu kind of has a step above that. I think Baby is also Z tier just because of what he offers. Like, he's like a hybrid character between like a tech and a tank, and he's just really good for that. If we were going to put this in order, this is actually perfect. Actually, if we were to put this in order for the tanks, this is exactly how it would go. It would be Zamasu, Baby, Caulifla, then you have Cooler and Cell, and then the 2 Vegetas. Now the technical class kind of goes all over the place because they used to have really bad characters, but that shit just entirely changed. So I'm just gonna go out on just straight up. Majin Buu is B tier now. He used to be D tier. Majin Buu is B tier. I think Frieza is B tier. He used to be A tier, but I think they nerfed him down a little too much. Gotenks, straight up Z tier. He just demolishes no matter what cards you have. You can have the worst cards in the game, he just demolishes. His super ghost kamikaze attack just does too much. Just having the ghost be able to follow, he has so much utility. I think Krillin is Z tier as well. His blinds with the solar flare, his ability to just hold down a single point, he's just really good. I think Ultimate Gohan is really good. I know you're gonna probably say I'm tripping for this. I think Ultimate Gohan is B tier. Maybe when he first dropped, I would consider him A tier, but I think just the difficulty of utilizing him in like the most efficient way, the skill gap is like really hard. But if you do get it right, arguably A tier. I think that on average though, he's definitely a B tier, and I think this Gohan is A tier because Kid Gohan just absolutely holds down top lane pretty much almost all the times. Even like he could be handling the most busted characters in the game DPS wise, and he just holds his own. I think Android 17 is also B tier. He used to be, actually I think he used to be a little worse, but 17 has gotten a step up in my opinion. And I think Hit, arguably the worst character in the game. Hit's the only D tier character. I'll give you a moment to comment down below. Go ahead, take your time. Take your time. Take your time. No. You don't have to spare me any kindness. I know your favorite character. You're like, what the hell? How is Hit the worst character in the game? Nah, I'm just tripping. I'm joking. Hit is really good, especially if you really know how to use him. Hit is A tier. I think this is kind of a really good representation of Gekishin Squadra. I don't think anybody is absolutely dookie juice. That's what I put D as, is like absolutely trash. I think this is a pretty fair assessment of all the characters in the game. If we was to say anybody is D tier, it's arguably gonna be, I don't know. Like, if I had to switch this shit up and just account for just PC players only, this is kind of like the average, I feel like, all the way around. I might move Daima Goku a little lower, actually. don't know. I gotta put Kale back up at Z. Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel like all these characters, because the game is I don't know. The reason I put it this way is that the game is pretty balanced now at this point in time. It really feels like they just keep on listening to us. They keep on buffing characters or they're nerfing characters. So overall, it does feel like the game is pretty well balanced across the board. So yeah, I don't know. You let me know what your tier list is down in the comments below. If you want to join me live at some point and we can go over tier list together, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. I think this is a pretty fair assessment. If you disagree, let me know. I mean, I could see some disagreements in here, but you know, definitely I would say the DPS role in the game has the best characters, which is why they have, in my books, they have, you know, 5 characters in Z rank, and each of the other ones only have 2. But I think across the board, that's just because we have more DPS characters. I don't know. Like I said in the comment, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and yeah, what are you looking forward to for season 3? I think realistically speaking, a season 3 tier list or a season 3 character sheet, I'll make a video for. So tune in for next time, and I'll make a video for that. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there. God bless. Peace.
Lights down low, but spirits so high. Game controller in hand, ready to fly. The night's a playground where time stands still. And in this cozy nook, let's get our thrill. Pixels shining bright in the midnight glow. Leveling up in a world we know. Laughing together as the hours drift by. In this gaming sanctuary we touch the sky.